Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me for this very, very brief introduction into an online meditation program that I am opening in the summer in July. And this is called Equanimity, Finding Home in Non-Judgement. Finding Home in Non-Judgement. And this will be a live, everything's live, nothing's pre-recorded. I'm there on all of the calls with all of you all. A live 12-week online meditation experience running from July 3rd to September 18th. And the program meets once a week from Mondays, on Mondays rather, from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. with a break in the middle there. And so today what I'm doing is just kind of introducing the 12-week program and giving some of a bit of a background on that. But first I want to talk about this word equanimity, right? Because what is equanimity really? Right? It almost, to some, can seem like a foreign word or a word from a different language. And indeed, it's really only a word that you ever hear contemplatives use, right? Meditation teachers and things like that will sometimes use this word equanimity. But essentially, equanimity means, in some respects, experiencing life just as it is, just as it arises, experiencing life free from our preferences and our prejudices, free from what we wish were or what we hope maybe might not have happened, free from all of that, and to really just experience life as it arises. In some contexts, equanimity means to stand in the middle of or in the midst of. And this is referring to really to stand in the middle of life's unfolding, to stand in the middle of life's unfolding, whether it be pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, that this is the experience of our life and to embrace it just because of that, that this is the life we have and we're invited to embrace that. Another definition of equanimity is the middle way, the Buddha's middle way, finding our balance point in between what's known in the Buddhist tradition as the worldly winds, finding the middle way or the balance point between gain and loss, pain and pleasure, and so forth. Another way of defining equanimity is a non-reactive space. A non-reactive space. This is cultivating an inner type of experiencing or an inner type of stillness, if you will, so that we are resilient and strong in the rough and tumble of our life. So we cultivate equanimity as a non-reactive space. And then the last two here on the slide, enlightenment and nirvana. These are often used as synonyms for equanimity in the later discourses of the Buddhist tradition. I won't be looking at equanimity as nirvana or enlightenment so much in the course, a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that. But essentially, the reason why I'm listing all of these here is to give us kind of a broad overview of the different lenses that we'll be examining equanimity through as the 12 weeks unfold. So first, in the course, for the first month or so, we will be practicing experiencing ourself through the eyes of non-judgment, through the eyes of non-judgment. And then we will practice relating to the world free from preference and prejudice. So we cultivate the space of non-judgment towards ourself, equanimity towards ourself, and then we cultivate a way of relating to the world that's free from preference and prejudice, or free from judgment. And we will be doing that through several different practices. I'll be drawing on practices from the Theravada school of Buddhism, which is one of the earlier schools of Buddhism from Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and so forth. I will also be drawing on many teachings from the Mahayana school of Buddhism, which includes Tibetan Buddhism and Zen, both of which I've trained quite deeply in. So we'll be drawing from those practices as well. Also drawing quite heavily from practices given through the modern modality of neuroplasticity. Been lucky enough to study quite extensively some neuroplasticity under Dr. Rick Hansen for the past 5 years or so. So we'll be looking at some of those practices. I'll be drawing a little bit from Christian contemplative writings, also writings from Taoism and Zen and Sufi poetry. So it's a very rich course. It's a very broad offering. And myself, my training is mostly in the Buddhist traditions. But I like to offer these teachings in a secular, non-sectarian voice. I really am passionate about bringing these teachings to people from all walks of life, all backgrounds. So here is the summary. Again, the course is Equanimity, Finding Home in Non-Judgement. It's live. Everything is live. Nothing's pre-recorded. I'll be there on the calls. And the sections are kept quite small. Actually, this course is just one section. But the enrollment will be somewhere between 15 and 20 people. And that's so we can have a very interactive co-creation experience where we're kind of co-creating the retreat together in that way. I like to be able to offer teachings to serve what's arising for people in the course rather than creating a curriculum and sticking to the curriculum in that way. So it becomes a very much a live course. Now, that being said, everything is going to be recorded and made available to the retreat participants only. I hold confidentiality in the highest regard. That's very important in programs like this so that we create a safe container for ourselves and for all the other participants so that we can express ourselves freely. So they will be recorded. The links will be sent out only to the retreat participants in that way. So you can do all 12 sessions online live if you wish. Very likely, at least most people have to miss a couple, perhaps more than a couple. That's also fine. You'll have the videos to catch up. Or you could do the whole program at your own pace. So I leave that up to you. It's completely up to you. In any case, I make myself available for one-to-one sessions, whether you're doing it live or semi-live or completely on the recording. I am available for one-to-one sessions over the entire 12-week program. I also would like to mention here that I am quite deeply studied in trauma and trauma healing. Done a lot of work in that area, and so I curate my programs and offerings so that I can hold space for traumatic energy if that's what's in the room. If somebody's nervous system is holding trauma, I offer teachings that won't trigger that trauma in such a way that that trauma won't get activated. So it's a trauma-informed environment. And again, this program runs from July 3rd to September 18th. We'll be meeting Mondays from 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. East Coast time. So please adjust your clocks accordingly. So I think that's all I've got to say. Thank you again so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing you all on the retreat. I'll ring the bell to close us out. Thank you.